So today I'm explaining 10th standard English 5th chapter from 9th para. I explained in last video till 8th para. So now I will explain from 9th para. So let's go to 9th para. Suddenly a daring thought came to her, and as she hurried home, she said to herself, "Why not? There's no harm in trying it. It would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we will get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar," she said to her mother later, and her father agreed to get the tickets. So in last video I said that Aunt Sushila said Smita to go to park as his brother was suffering from cancer. He could not come to the concert as he was a big fan of Pandit Ravi Shankar, but he could not come as so she was very much sad and came to Aunt Sushila house, and Aunt Sushila said to go to park in last para, in last video, in last paras 8 paras I said. So let's come to 9 para. So after going to park, when she was walking in the park, she got an idea. Suddenly a daring thought, means a thought came to her mind, and as by the thought she returned her home very fastly, and after returning she said to her mother, she said to herself, why can't I do that? So she said she said herself, there is no harm in trying it. It would be nice. So she said it would be nice to go to the concert. Sure. So she said to mother, it would be nice to go to the concert. So she said, I don't know when will we get the opportunity again to go to concert and hear Pandit Ravi Shankar's song. So she said this to her mother. As I said, she said this to her mother. And after telling in last para, her mother said his father will bring the tickets for you. So her father agreed to get the ticket. After Smita said like this to that she is agreed to go to the concert. So this is about 9th para. Let's go to 10th para. Come to 10th para. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, "Enjoy yourself," though the word came out in the painful gasp, "Lucky you." So in 10th para, as the Smita in 9th para, you saw that Smita has agreed to go to the concert. In 10th para, after she agreed, the next day his father and Smita were leaving for the concert. To go to the concert, her brother smiled and said to Smita, "Enjoy yourself." So he said it with very painful gasp, "Lucky you," because he could not go and see the concert. So the Anand said to Smita like this. So this is about 10th para. 11th para. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard as in a dream the thundering welcome. The audience gave the great master. Then the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow plaintive notes, the fast twinkling ones. But all the while the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind, the chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every beat of the tabla. The concert came to an end, and the audience gave the artist a standing ovation. A large mustached man made a long boring speech. Then followed the presentation of bouquets. Then more applause, and the curtain came down. The people began to move towards the exits. So in 10th para you came to know that Smita had came to concert making some plan in the plan. So she had an idea what to do in the concert. With a plan she came to the concert. So after coming to the concert, sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard in a dream the thundering welcome. The audience gave the great master. So the welcome given by the audience for the Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka. Then the first notes came. So after giving a great welcome to Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka, then the first notes came out from there in the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of enchantment and the dreams were open. Melbourne, she listened to the unflowing rages. So she listened to the unflowing rages, the slow plaintive notes. She was listening as she was a musician. She was as she was learning the music. So she would know a little bit about music while as she was learning. The the plaintive notes, slowly the plaintive notes came. The fast twinkling notes came. But all hearing these, the Smita but she had remembered the plan. She had decided on the evening before. She had decided the plan on the evening before leaving the home. It was fitted in her mind very firmly. Means it was fitted in her mind the chance of lifetime. So while leaving the home, the Anand said that it is a chance of lifetime when he heard first time also. So that voice was in her was beating. She would hear in the every bit of tabla. So after the concert came to an end, and the audience gave the artist a standing ovation. Means they gave a little bit respect to the Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka, and a large mustache means a person of mustachioed means a in Kannada we will call meese big ತೊಟ್ಟು ಮೀಸೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. So he is called as mustachioed in English. Man came with a boring speech, so he did a very boring speech. Then followed the presentation of buckets. So the buckets were given to Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka. Then more applause and the curtain came down. And the curtain came down means the program was over. And the people began to move towards the exit. So this is about 11th para. 12th para. So let's go to 12th para. Now was the time. Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly. In the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert, to help carry buckets and teacups and instruments. So in 12th para, after hearing the song, so now Smita remembers now it is time to execute her plan. Means her plan was to meet Pandit Ravi Shankar and make them to come to her house and sing the song for her brother. So it was the plan made by Smita. So it was the time to say this to Pandit Ravi Shankar. So Smita pushed and go make her way into the crowded in the crowds, and then after that she moved to the stage. Then she went up the steps that lead to the wings. So that led to the Pandit Ravi Shankar and them. So her heart was beating loudly too, because she was very much feared. How can I ask them? So in the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the. So there was a small crowd had gathered. So there was a small crowd had gathered on the stage to talk about the concert of the evening concert, and to give the buckets to Mr. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka, and teacups and instruments were taken out from there. So this is about 12th para. He was there, standing with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Alaraka. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up and standing before them, her hands folded. Oh, sir, she burst out. Yes, he asked questioningly but kindly, and her story came pouring out. The story of her brother who lay sick at home and of how he longed to hear him and the Ustad play. Little girl, said the mustachioed man who had made the long speech. Panditji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such request. But Pandit Ravishankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Alaraka and said, "What shall we do, Ustad Sahib?" The Ustad moved to the wad of pan from on one cheek to another. "Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy." "Yes," he said. "Yes," Pandit replied. "It's settled then." So after this, after after finishing the concert and after Smita entered into the Pandit Ravishankar and Ustad Alaraka's restroom, she asked. So they both were there only, standing with a man who played tabla. He was a great wizard. So he was a great wizard of musician. His name was Ustad Alaraka. So, because of fear, her knees were felt weak. How could I ask? They are very much big musicians. How can I ask? With very much tensions and fear, her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up and standing before them. So she gone and stand before them. Her hands folded. "Oh, sir." So her hands were folded, and she asked, "Oh, sir." And by saying she burst out means she said all about his brother. Yes, he asked question. So yes, Pandit Ravishankar asked question by kindly, and her story come pouringly. So her story where come out, the story of her brother. So her brother's story come out, who was laying in sick at home, and of how he longed to hear him. So how he loved to hear Pandit Ravishankar's song and Ustad Alaraka's tabla playing. So he said so the mustache man. So I said in 11th para, he who gave a long speech, he asked little girl. He says Pandit Ravishankar is a very busy man, and you must not ask him with such requests. With such request, you must not ask him. But Pandit Ravishankar smiled and motioned and said him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Alaraka and asked, "What shall we do, Ustad Sahib?" He but asked. Let's come to 14th para. It was a very excited Smita who came home late at night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. Did you hear him?" he whispered. "I did," she replied, "and I spoke to him, and he will come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad, and they will play for you." So in last para you saw that Smita talked with Alaraka and Pandit Ravishankar. They accepted to come to their home and sing the song. So after accepting, after finishing the concert, she came back and was very excited. Smita and Anant was very much excited. He asked Smita came home late at night, and Anant was awake. So he was awake. Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, 1 minute. Yes. So Anant was awake and he was breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. So from the oxygen cylinder he was breathing. So Anant asked Smita, "Did you hear him?" He was whispered. So he asked very much slowly. "I did," she replied, "and I spoke to him." So Smita said, I heard him. I did. She said, I did, as she was planned that she will ask Pandit Ravi Shankar to come home and sing for Anand. So she did that, and she replied to Anand that she spoke to Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka to come home tomorrow, and she with Ustad Alaraka and Pandit Ravi Shankar will come home and they will sing song for you. So this is about 14th para. So let's come to 15th para. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighboring saw two men getting out of taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. It is not possible, they said. So in last para you see that Smita you said that Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka accepted to come to their house and sing the song. So the next day, the following morning, so the Aunt Sushila and their neighbors saw two men coming out of the taxis. They pulled out outside the block, so they could not believe it. Though, so the neighbors and Aunt Sushila cannot believe their eyes. They said it is not possible. It is not possible. They all the people and Sushila also said that. So this is about 15th para. 16th para. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window and played for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him gently, very gently. So in the 15th para, you know that Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka came to Aunt Sushila's house and their neighbor was shocked to see them. In 16th para, Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka went up to the wooden staircase and they knocked the door very softly and knocked the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment very softly. They went in. So after that they went in, sat down in the divan by the window. So they went in and sat down in the divan means they sat down on the sofa. We can say a very safe on the divan by the window. So it was located by the window. They sat and they played the song for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness. So by the song they were surrounded him with a very great and beautiful happiness. After hearing that song, our life went out of him. So after hearing that, our life as he was suffering from cancer, as he was suffering from cancer, they know that he may die anytime. So after hearing that song, Anant died. Anant, after hearing the song sung by Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alaraka, his life went out of him gently, very slowly.